Hello guys, today welcome back, and today we will be learning about surface areas of prisms and cylinders. We already did the discoveries in class with the cereal boxes and the cans, so today we will be actually applying the formulas that we learned. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, here are our vocabularies for today. We have net, surface area, and lateral faces. Now, a net, like we saw, is when you open up the figure and you can see all those shapes that make up that figure. So, for example, over here we have a box, and you can see all the shapes that make up the box. That is called a net. Okay, now next thing we have is surface area. Now when we add up all the shapes that make up the net, all the shapes that make up that solid figure, we find the surface area. Now when finding the surface area, you have to be careful because sometimes they do not ask you, maybe sometimes the top is not included and sometimes the bottom is not included. So we have to be careful with that. Now our next vocab, we have lateral faces, and those are parallelograms that connect the bases. So for example, here I have the bottom piece and the top piece. Those are my bases, and then everything around it, let me switch color here, and everything around it that connects those two, that's called lateral faces. Like we saw with the cylinders in class, sometimes we are not covering the top or the bottom. That's usually when we deal with the cans. So we only deal with those lateral face. Alright, so let's go ahead and do some problems. Alright, so here we need to find the surface area of this rectangular prism. So I want you guys to picture that you have your magic powers and you are going to open this box. Okay, since they do not specify, so we are going to find the area of the whole box, including the top and including the bottom. Okay, so first thing I have to do, I'm going to break this down. I'm going to picture like I have powers and I'm opening this, splitting it up. So first I'm going to deal with the front. Okay, now I know the front is also equal to the one in the back. You guys can see the blue one I'm shading in the back. So if this is 9 times 7, this one will also be 9 times 7. So the area of the blue ones will be 63. Again, they're rectangles, so that's very easy. It's base times height, so we do 9 times 7, so that will be 63. However, we have two of them that are congruent, so we need to multiply this by 2. Plus, what else are we going to add? Alright, so now again, I'm going to deal with this side. If you can see the side right here in yellow. So this left here is 15. What is the height? That's something we need to figure out. So if this is 9, that means this is also 9. So here we can do 9 times 15. And again, we have two that are congruent, if you can picture the yellow one in the back. So I can do 9 times 15 and multiply that by 2. Let's bring up our cal real quick and do 9 times 15. And that's going to be 135. Again, I have to multiply it by 2 because I have two congruent sides. They're the same. Now, what is left is we have the top and the bottom one. Let's use green for that one. So basically now we have the bases in green. And those two are also congruent. And here we have 7 times 15. Because if this is 7, this is 15, that will be for the bottom. Let's clear this out. And that will be 105. But remember to multiply it by 2 because we have two congruent bases. Alright, so now all we have left to do is to just go ahead and add them all up. Alright, so remember orders of operation. Yes, we have to multiply first. Alright, so let's go ahead and do this very quickly. So here we have 2 times 63. We get 126. Now keep in mind, when you are using a calculator for this, you must do all the multiplication because the calculators that we have are not programmed to do the orders of operation. Alright, so now let's go ahead and add everything up. So 270 plus 126 plus 210. And this will be 606 square inches. Alright, remember we are dealing with surface area. So that means everything needs to be squared, or units will be square units. Alright, so this was the surface area of a rectangular prism. Now moving on to surface area of a triangular prism. Now this is the exact same thing as if we had a rectangular prism, but here except the bases are triangles. Okay, so we all remember if we put two triangles together, what will they form? Yes, they will form a rectangle. So here I'm going to put those two together, and that will be my rectangle right here. And then if we put them together, it will turn into a rectangular prism. Alright, but let's go ahead and break it down. So here I have a triangle. Let's find the area of one base. So here, because the base here is a triangle, I have to use the formula for triangle exactly. So it's going to be half of the base times the height. So here I know half of the base is 3. This is my base right here. And half of the base is 3. So 3 times 3, I get 9. Actually, let's plug it in. So it's going to be half times my base, which is 6, times the height, which is 3. Now, if we take a look at this, we have 2 of them. So I have to multiply this whole thing by 2. Now, what happened to the 2's? The 2's are going to cancel each other out. So here, the area of both bases is going to be 18 square inches. Alright, so here I have the bases out of the way. Now we need to find the area of the lateral faces. And I have this one right here, the one that's facing me. And then I also have another one in the back. Those two are congruent. So again, here I have to multiply it by 2. So here we need the height. So if this is 4, so then this over here is also 4. And then we do 12 times 4, which is 48. But we have to remember to multiply it by 2 because we have two congruent sides. Now the next one, let me erase this. Now the next one will be the bottom piece right here. Please do not confuse this as the base. Even though this is not standing up, it's laying down, this is not the base. Those two are the bases. Remember, there's two congruent bases in the shape. So if this is 6, this is 12, so when we multiply we get 72. Now we only have 1, so we are not going to multiply this one by 2. So, and then of course we have to add the bases. Let's go ahead and add that. So we have 2 times 48 plus 72 plus 18. And here we have 186 square inches. Again, you have to basically break it down and find the area of every single shape. It's not that hard, it's just a long process, but it's manageable. We can do it. Alright, so now let's move on to cylinder. Okay, so now we are moving on to cylinder. Now remember in class we actually dealt with the cans and we had to actually open it up, and then we figured out that when we opened the paper that was wrapping up the can, its perimeter, right here, it's actually the circumference of the circle. So that one was 2 pi r, and for us to find the areas we multiplied by the height. So to find the area of just the lateral face, we have to do 2 pi r h times the height, plus now we need to add the area of both bases, the two circle, and the area of one circle is pi r square, but since we have 2, we need to multiply that by 2, and then from there all we do is to go ahead and substitute. Now my 2 stay times 3.14 times the radius is 6 and the height is 8.3, plus, now that is only for the lateral area. Now for the bases we do 2 times 3.14 times 6 to the second power. Again, we are only squaring the radius exactly. Alright, so let's bring out our calculator so we can do this. So 2 times 6 is 12 times 3.14 times 8.3. And we get 312.744. Plus, now let's do this one. So here we have 6 squared, which is 36, times 3.14 times 2, and we have 226 and 800. Now we go ahead and add up those two numbers. 312 plus 226.08, and that gives us 538.824 square feet. Now you have to be careful here because sometimes they will only ask you for the lateral, like how much paper will we need to wrap around the cylinder. Then we will only be dealing with this part, this side of the formula. If we are covering everything, then we'll deal with the whole formula. Alright, and then also another thing they can do, they can actually ask you to round the answer maybe to the nearest tenths or to the nearest hundredths. So here to the nearest tenths it will be 538.8. Alright, let's go ahead and see if you guys are ready. Alright, go ahead and try these problems and then come back to check the answer. Hello, pause. Psh, come on now guys, pause. Alright, good. You're good. Alright, well, welcome back. So here is the answer for this rectangular prism. 142 square inches. Hopefully that was your answer. If not, go back and check your calculations. And here the area, the whole area, the surface area of this cylinder will be 678 and 2/10. Again, here we round it to the nearest tenths. And for this, what's the name of this one? What's the name? Okay, good. Triangular prism. So the area here will be 2,822 square yard. Do not forget your units. Again, if you make any mistake, go back and check your calculations. And of course, post the questions on Edmodo if you're stuck anywhere. Alright, I have a bonus for you guys. Alright, so go ahead and solve this problem. It is a bonus question and it is worth 40 XP. P's. Now, if you want the bonus points, you have to send me your answer through Edmodo. One thing you can do all the work and take a picture of it and send it to me. Alright, please run your answer to the nearest 10th here because we're going to be dealing with a lot of decimal places. Alright, so good luck. That was it for today. Have a good one. Bye bye.